But
Okay, so yeah, I'm driving, looking at a property, a vacant lot. So I'm gonna be a little distracted, but I'm here. So let's
okay.
get this party started.
All right. All right.
So I am Vanda Crossley with Loan Factory and with eXp Realty. And I have Stephen and Sandra. Did Sandra just drop off?
No, I'm here.
She's here.
Oh, I didn't know what that was. Okay. So we're going to talk about VA loans. So you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell us what you do and why we should listen to you about VA loans.
Go ahead, Sandra.
Okay, well, I'm Sandra Navarre with Loan Factory. I've got 20 years of underwriting experience under my belt and decided to transition to loan originations. And for the sole reason that I feel like I can help people better up front when they need help with their loans, VA or otherwise.
Thank you.
All right.
And I'm Stephen Hultquist. I'm with Loan Factory, and I'm also with our group Realtors, which is I'm a real estate agent. I am also a mortgage loan officer, which really gives me an opportunity to help you think of it as a spoke in a wagon wheel in your entire real estate transaction. Whether you are going to talk to somebody, a surveyor, an appraiser, or get that bank statement from your bank, I can help you on all sides of that, including a buyer's rep agreement, to get you supported and in a home.
And we all met up at Rocket Mortgage in Michigan, and we just all had a connection. And we said we're going to do this and join forces together to educate people about the home buying process. We all have different expertise and different knowledge, and we just want to share that with you guys. So any questions you may have, you can direct it. Direct it to any one of us. My husband's phone just dropped.
Oh,
And we're trying to do GPS. That's what happens when you're live here. You know, all kind of stuff.
It's called multitasking these days, right?
Yeah.
Yep. You have to.
Yes.
To get anything done, you got to multitask.
Exactly.
So my last loan was with a VA client, and we did have a lot of challenges, but we got through them. And so getting through all these conditions, when they showed me all the conditions, it was like 100 of them. So some of them, the client had to provide information, but some of the stuff just underwriters have to do. And we want to be able to make this transaction as smooth as possible for our clients. Have you guys had any issues with your VA clients?
Well, one of the things I've seen on here, and Sandra, I'm glad with your underwriting background. I think it's really important on here, and I'm going to say in general, but specifically on VA for the VA clients, is there's a lot of guidelines and a lot of things that are needed on there. Many times, even for example, I had a conventional. I had 20 conditions on approved eligible. This was a conventional with 3 items. The other 17, they really apply to certain things. Think of them as, okay, the standards or kind of the limitations as it may relate to an appraisal. Or it could be a bank statement, and it may signify on there that if you had a certain percentage increase, there could be 2 or 3 things just on that. So you do see that a lot and on VA. But what's good about it, and Sandra, if you can just say a little bit about that as an underwriter, I'm sure when you see loan officers and their eyes get big like this and go, wow, look at all those conditions. But a lot of times what is for the borrower is only specific ones. It's ones to make sure we're staying in the loop on the guidelines.
Well, I think that's in general. So whether it's for the borrower, whether it's inside, internal conditions for the underwriter, loan officer, everything has to be stated on paper. So to document it for the paper trail, for the person behind us that picks it up, especially on the back end. So when we place conditions, technically, when you get one document, it could be, for example, let's say a title report. There could be 5 different conditions on there, but that one title report is going to satisfy them all. But they have to all individually be documented. So it's clearly stated, and we show that we requested these items and we've cleared them to, to make sure it's a complete file. Same thing with appraisal. It could be a condition about a comp. It could be a condition about, correcting the name. It could be a condition about, an error. Sometimes they put the wrong lender in there in the appraisal of who, who ordered it. And those three things just on one document will satisfy those three conditions, but they're listed individually. So it looks overwhelming because a lot of times if you place conditions for that, for example, that one with 3 different conditions and you put it all in one, what people tend to do a lot of time, because as we know as loan officers, we're on the go. Look at Vanda on the go trying to do more than one thing, and they only read like the first sentence. And then they don't read the rest of it. So you got to break it out to make sure that nothing gets missed. And that's just being efficient so that you don't prolong the process. Because if you send in all your conditions to underwriting and you didn't see the last 2 listed in that one condition, you know what happens? It has to go back to processing. Then they have to fulfill those. It goes back to underwriting and it gets in line to be underwritten again to review those conditions. So you've just lost a couple of days just because a person didn't read the full condition.
Absolutely, absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's even more.
You kind of broke up a little bit. Did it?
I'm sorry, did we break up a little bit?
Did it?
I think we could hear this, and it just might vary if you're traveling a little bit there.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to try to focus, and we're going to be touching on things.
Oh, you made it in.
Go ahead.
I think Vanda's breaking up.
Vanda? Yeah, I think hers is breaking up on there. Sandra, I think what you make an important point on there when you say the loan officer may not know everything, but they have the right people to go to.
Exactly.
It's very important, especially on a VA loan. When I first met Vanda, she was going through some struggles with this, and they're very specific things. They're laid out. They are laid out, but you can share them. I mean, even on the VA website, they have a section just for real estate professionals. And it's amazing. There's a loan officer that I've read on there and saw, wow, look at these things that can be done with the veterans and be able to help them get through all of those details.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of resources, and that's what the purpose of this call. It's another resource for people that are interested in VA, or if you have a family member or a friend that would qualify for a VA. That's why, we do things such as this so that we can get the information out there, because a lot of people don't know what they need to do to qualify or what a VA really is.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start on one item here. I'm going to use the acronym. There must be 200 acronyms in VA, like a lot of them, but the first one is COE. It's not the CEO, but the COE is a very important document. It's called the Certificate of Eligibility. Mm-hmm. That is a document that you as a veteran can pull. It is a document that a lot of lenders can pull, even loan officers, depending on what the company. A lot of times you have to have a VA ID as a lender, but if you don't have that, then we can help you as a loan officer, where we have many lenders. We have the ability to be able to help get that as soon as possible. It is very easy, though, for a veteran to be able to pull. Very easy means internet, so that's a little scary for people. So we even have a step-by-step, really easy, that if you need that, to be able to pull that. But the biggest thing is you've got 3 people here. You can pick up the phone and call somebody who can help you out on that. And it can literally be done quickly if we have all the information on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is really the most important thing in your process there, because that's going to give you a lot of information on there, what to pull, a lot of information to see on there. A second document that's really important on there is the DD 214. This is a document. It's basically a statement of service of retirement points summary, is basically what it is. It's important to have that. It does take a little longer to get. That document will tell what you're eligible for, what rank when you were discharged. And the biggest thing on VA is being able to help with disabilities. There's a lot of different levels in the bill and in the disability category, such as a 10%, a 50, a 70. Many of the programs and many state-specific programs related to the VAs will have different things that they can give as a benefit on that to the veteran.
It's also an important document for surviving spouses. They're going to need that if they're trying to get a VA loan.
Yeah, it's really important. And it's not only on the loan basis, is a house. For example, based on your disability, I don't know if it varies by state. It may vary by county, but I know in Harris County here and in most states in California, you can literally get up to 100% exemption from the taxes on that if you have 100% disability. And there's different things on that. So it's good to check that out. We have that information, but it's also widely available on the appraisal district and the tax collecting agency of the county with what you have on that.
Yeah. All right.
So how much of a disability you have to not have to pay your taxes every year? Is it 60% disability or 100% disability?
I believe you get most of it at 70. I don't know that off the top of my head, but I know it varies. There is a variation on there on that, but it's on the county site there, and they've got that, and you can, as soon as you get that disability or you get a revision in it, you can apply so that you can start that additional discount on that. But that's something that I can follow up with on there, and we'll have that number for you for 100% exemption.
Yeah, that's great for Texas because taxes are so high here. But if you're a veteran and you get a disability, you don't have to pay all your taxes, or the home exemption too. You get an exemption if it's your primary resident if you're not a veteran.
And if you're reaching the age I am, you can get senior discounts even soon.
Yes, my age as well. That's over 62.
Nice.
So we're in the over 60 club. So yes, you do get them for seniors as well. Sandra, you got a ways to go.
Not that far.
And Sandra, you're from California, is that correct?
Yes.
Texas and California are the number two. I believe Florida's close by in the number of veterans. California is one of the largest with the number of bases and things they have. So there's a huge population out there to help people. And it's just a communication on that.
Yeah, there is a lot. I'm close to San Diego, and one of our bases is out there, Camp Pendleton, Marine Base.
I'm surprised a lot of veterans still don't know about these benefits. It's like they get out and then nobody tells them, like on exit, or maybe they tell them and their mind is not in the right place at that time and they don't think about it.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about eligibility, like who is eligible for a VA loan. So
so anybody that has a DD 214 and you got honorably discharged. But there are some other ones. Stephen and I went to a Texas land board, I guess, workshop the other day, and they get other benefits that other veterans don't get. So like my husband has a DD 214 honorably discharged, but he didn't serve during wartime. So he's not eligible for the VA one, but with the Texas Veterans Land Board, he is eligible. So we'll be looking into that one in Texas. It's only in Texas though.
Right. And sometimes on those is you think about it, and one of the questions they asked when Vanda and I were there was, well, what war were you in? There are certain time periods, and based on those over time, there are benefits that may be different in there. For example, if during a declaration of war. When there has been a declaration of war, there can be some specific benefits that become available immediately, even if the veteran is not currently located in the state of Texas. If they are on duty outside the country, you still can become available, have those benefits to start with that.
That's a nice benefit. So, you know, as far as eligibility, just to break it down for people out there, veterans who meet specific requirements, which Vanda had spoken about some of those, active duty members, service members, members of National Guard or reserves, and some surviving spouses of veterans. That's where that DD-214 comes into place as well. And then, of course, like Vanda said, certificate of eligibility, anybody that has that, that's a key document in order to obtain a VA loan. How about some of the advantages of getting a VA loan? To discuss some of those advantages.
One of the big benefits on there is to be able to get in at a zero down payment, at 100% loan to value on there. There is a VA funding fee that is collected on that. It's basically an insurance that is similar to some of the other programs, such as FHA or conventionals, that insures the lender in the event of a default. Now, that VA funding fee can vary. The big benefit, again, is based on your disability. That funding fee will need to be verified on there.
All right, go down there, we'll save it.
So one thing to make sure we notice is that even though it's zero down payment, you still need some money to be able to close.
Absolutely.
A lot of
That's a good
people
point.
think that they think they don't need any money because it's zero down. Well, you need money for closing costs. You need money for inspection. You need money for the option fee. You need earnest money to put down to show that you're serious about purchasing this house. And those funds do go towards your closing costs, but you just can't come to the table with, I got my DD-15 and I'm ready to go. And how much money you got? I got none.
That's an excellent point,
Vanda.
Vanda.
You gotta have some cash.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, because a lot of people do think, oh, zero down, that they don't have to come with money, but down payment and closing costs are two different things. So that's an excellent point.
Very true on there.
Yep. And we can help you with that before you get your pre-approval. You come to us, bring us your last 2 months bank statement, your W-2s for the last 2 years, your tax returns for the last 2 years. So you got to have ID. And then we can help you. We can do a soft pull on your credit, so it's no impact on your credit score. And if you're not quite ready, we can tell you what you need to do to get ready.
Exactly.
So it's not a matter of if you can get approved, but when you can get approved. Some
Right.
people may take an extra couple of months, and some people, may take a little bit longer, but we can get you there. Follow the roadmap we give you.
Right. One of the things.
Go ahead.
One of the things. Okay.
Really quick, I'm sorry. Another good point, based off of what she's saying about the 100% financing. Another good point to put out there is that with the VA, there's no PMI, versus with a conventional loan, anything over 80% on that value, that LTV, you're going to have mortgage insurance. With the VA loan, you do not have that private mortgage insurance.
That's correct.
Yep.
That's correct. One of the things I was going to mention there, in the qualifying, there's only one ratio that they take all your debts divided by all the income on there. The recommended percentage they look at is 41% on there. But again, there's variation based on the strength of the file on there. I've seen them go up higher from there. I've seen them go lower from there. The credit score that is required on a VA loan is 580. Now, different lenders may have an overlay. An overlay is when they may have something that's a little bit stricter on there. Some lenders may only go to, for example, to a 620. You can get them done lower, but they may also have to be a manual underwrite versus an automated system. 99% of loans go through what's considered an automated process, that it does not have to go to the VA for approval. There are some cases where they do, but that's something to keep in mind of also. They will look at a little bit different one, that they look at what they consider a residual income based on the number of people who are living in the house. So they're a little bit different on the income like that, just like on the debt ratio for individuals with a veteran.
Yeah, let's talk about the different lenders too, because we work with Loan Factory. We have access to over 200 lenders. So the first lender that I went to for my veteran that I just closed, they got denied because of their credit score. We had to find another lender who would accept them, because all lenders are not the same.
That is
So
correct.
that's one benefit you get with us. If you just go apply with, let's say, Chase or Wells Fargo, you know, they can only give you the products that they have and what their requirements are. But we can shop around with your unique situation and find the lender for you. So I look at it like putting the pieces of a puzzle together. You know, we got this problem and we're going to solve it. We're going to find somebody that can fund you.
Right. That's very important on there. One of the things here I'm looking at when they talk about, we said who is eligible, current active duty service members. You've got members of the National Guard, the reserves, veterans who served sufficient time on active duty, and under what their conditions for discharge other than dishonorable.
Yeah.
There's also the, as I mentioned before, the unmarried surviving spouse benefits on that. And good that there's good to get that checked out, because some of the things on there after the death of the veteran may be available for for unmarried surviving spouse versus married. So those are important things to know before you go that step. Most people I'm a veteran, they'll go out and start looking at homes, and they've got to, you know, want to look for a house, get those benefits, and they may not know what those are, and they may not qualify for that. So, but that's very easy. It would usually about 4 or 5 questions at the very beginning, such as your certificate of eligibility, what is your disability, things like that is what's important on there.
Yep. And I just want to say, just trust the process. It's not a quick process, because you are dealing with the government and they have their own timeline. So your closing may not be in 30 days. You may close in 45 days and be ready for an extension for whatever reason, you know?
That's right. That's right on there. That's important with that. The one of the amounts that got on my little note here talking about the VA funding fee, there's a couple of different levels on there. For example, if you're what was I looking at here? The current one for less than 5% down, which most of them is going to be, is 2.15%. And I believe that changed in April of this year. And then if you were looking at a loan with I'm looking here, like, for example, on the interest rate reduction refi, which we're seeing with the VAs lately here, it's 0.50% on there. Also, that's the same for that with assumption of a VA guaranteed loan. That's always not recommended on that, but there may be, sometimes there's a benefit for people with that. But remember, if somebody's assuming that loan, that entitlement is still being used under you, and could have ramifications or prevent your use of using that for financing later on.
Okay, that's important to know.
Yeah, very
Yes.
important.
Yes, it is. It is. And then I've got another little thing here. I like the little things that does comparisons on here. I received this from someone, and it says there's a difference between entitlement and eligibility. Let me read this to you here, because it's little small print here, but it says entitlement's amount of money that the VA will guarantee. It's determined by the amount of entitlement available to the veteran. Your eligibility is if the veteran service qualifies for the VA home loan programs. So there's two different things on there to make sure that are aware of on there.
So is the eligibility like the monthly? How much they'll guarantee a month?
That's how much guarantee in order for the when they look at the loan amount on there, it could be based on that. So there's different ways on there.
Okay.
Now there's also a lot of closing costs that are more that aren't allowable on VA loans. There's a whole
Like
list
what?
there's a whole list of items on there, like underwriting fee. There could be a commitment fee. There could be a closing fee. Each one of these, there is ability though to do 1% of those non-allowables. It's a little fine line in there when they look at that on there. You can do a 1% loan origination fee in lieu of charges the VA considers non-allowable. There is a seller's concession on that, like a lot of them have on there. It's limited to 4% of the value, but only certain items are considered concessions under that. So it gets a little detailed on there, but there's things to work with that on there. Your qualifying loan amount, your VA funding fee that is financed can be above that loan amount that you're getting for the property.
A lot of little details that a lot of lenders don't like to deal with VA because of that.
Right.
But not us. We'll take it on head on.
Whatever we can do, whatever we can do for you out here in that. And one of the things about this too is really what we do is we take a focused look and target what we can do for the audience that we're talking to. Meaning, let's talk to a veteran that this may be their first home. They've been in the military. They may have a disability, they may not. But there's a big life challenges with people, and they don't realize that, even at a later stage in life, you have those benefits. There are benefits there for you.
Right.
And it's knowing those, and it's knowing whether the disability and the percentage of it. It's also important on there for the spouse when you talk about a surviving spouse of a veteran. And they also have unmarried spouse benefits. You got a lot of places like Texas that are common law on there, but some of the VA benefits will still apply.
Mm-hmm. Well, Sandra, I know you got to go. Don't you have an appointment now?
Yeah, I do. I'm waiting for a call to come through.
Oh, okay. Well, just let us know. We can stop. We don't have to be on here a certain amount of time.
Yeah,
We're just giving out a little bit of information.
It's a phone appointment, so
we're going to do this every week at this time, and we'll talk about different loan products, or we'll dive into other details about the VA. So anybody have any questions, just let us know. You can email us. We're all at Loan Factory. I'm Vanda Crossley at loanfactory.com. Stephen Hultquist at loanfactory.com, and Sandra Navarre at loanfactory.com.
And mine is spelled STEVEN HULTQUIST at loanfactory.com.
Yeah, I'll put all that in the show notes when I get ready to upload this.
All right, this sounds good.
This has been fun.
Yeah,
I have enjoyed it. We're going to take this and take it a long way for veterans. You know what? It's important as we go into November here for Veterans Day. It's all about gratitude for veterans.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you both. It was great.
All right.
All right. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. I got to figure out how to end this thing. Let's see.
Turn the corner off that hill.
Oh, no, I can just